Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. This is Sunita Gladys Kanaka from Punvidyashram. Good morning, students. How are you? Hope each and every one are keeping fine and safe. Welcome to the English class. Today I am going to take the next lesson, and it is a poem. Today I wrote this poem by Ken Nesbitt. Now, a quick brief introduction about the poet Ken Nesbitt. Ken Nesbitt is an American poet famous for his humorous poetry for children. On June 11, 2013, he was named Children's Poet Laureate by the Poetry Foundation. He was born on 20th February 1962 in California, USA. A few of his famous works are My Hippo Has the Hiccups and When the Teacher Isn't Looking. Today I wrote this poem by Ken Nesbitt is an amusing poem in which the poet has beautifully described his poetry writing skills as well as experience. Have you ever tried writing poems, children? If not, I am sure you will try one after this lesson. And those who have tried must have felt a great sense of achievement and dived into the world of imagination. Now, I am going to say the summary of Today I Wrote This Poem by Ken Nesbitt. Here, a child is trying to write a poem, but he isn't very happy about it. He keeps thinking about the rules and regulations and other literary devices his teacher had explained in the class. But this child could not use any of these in his writing. He fears that his teacher will point out the absence of narrative and a great plot. However, in the end, when he goes to the teacher for assessment, he gets an A+++++. The child is overwhelmed, encouraged, and motivated. Let's read the poem together. Come on, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, start. Today I wrote this poem. Today I wrote this poem, but I'm not sure if it's good. It doesn't have the things my teacher says a poem should. It doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. It's missing any narrative, alliteration too. It isn't an acrostic, Diamonte or haiku. There's nothing that's personified. It doesn't have a plot. I'm pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. It sure was fun to write it, and I think it's long enough. It's just too bad it's missing all that great poetic stuff. I put it on my teacher's desk, and wow, she made a fuss. She handed back my poem with an A++++. Ken Nesbitt. Beautiful, isn't it, children? Now let us understand stanza wise. First stanza. Today I wrote this poem, but I am not sure if it is good. It doesn't have the things my teacher says a poem should. Here, the child is writing a poem, but he is not sure it is a good one because it does not have what a good poem should have according to the teacher. In other words, when he compares his poem and found out that his poem does not have a single attribute his teacher had explained. Shall we move on to the second stanza, children? Okay. It doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. Here, the child says that he has an enormous or large ocean of feelings inside him, but he could not put those feelings in the paper. Quite relatable, isn't it, children? We can have many ideas in our mind, but sometimes we just cannot express those ideas. The same thing has happened to this child. Now, second stanza, third and fourth line. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. Two new words are given there, metaphors and simile. What is a metaphor? A metaphor is a figure of speech which compares one thing with the other. For example, my mom is a teddy bear. That means my mom cannot become a stuffed toy like a teddy bear, but it conveys that she is cuddly and she can be hugged whenever feel low as we do to a teddy bear. Now, remember one very important thing about metaphor. We never use the words like or as when we compare things in metaphor. But in simile, we use like or as when we talk about simile. For example, he is as sly as a fox, or they fought like cats and dogs. So remember, very important thing, when we compare two things using like or as, it becomes a simile. Stanza. It's missing any narrative, alliteration too. It isn't an acrostic, Diamonte or haiku. Here, many new words are given, isn't it? Narrative, alliteration, acrostic, Diamonte, and haiku. Now, what is narrative? A story is told or demonstrated is known as narrative. It is a style used by the narrator how others interpret the story. The child says he hasn't got any style to narrate a story. Now, the next word is alliteration. What is an alliteration? An alliteration is a literary device in which every word begins with the same consonant sound. What are consonants? Consonants are the letters other than vowels. For example, B, C, D, F, G, etc. Example for an alliteration is she sells seashells by the seashore. Here, the consonant S is repeated and the sound is S. Now, what is an acrostic, Diamonte or haiku? The examples will appear on the screen. So please watch that and then learn about these three new words. Okay. Now, an acrostic. What is an acrostic? An acrostic is the poem in which the first, last, or any letter in each line spells out a word. Now, what is Diamonte? A Diamonte is a poem that does not rhyme and has 7 lines. The first and the last will have 1 word each, while the lines in the middle are longer and looks like a diamond. Can you see that on the screen? Okay. Now, what is haiku? Haiku is a traditional Japanese style of writing with 3 lines and usually 17 syllables. The first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the third line has 5 syllables again. Now, what is a syllable? A syllable is a part of word that contains a single vowel sound. For example, water. Water, W-A-T-E-R, water. In the word O, wa, and these are syllables. Is that clear, children? Shall we move on to the fourth stanza? Yeah. There is nothing that's personified. It doesn't have a plot. I am pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. Now, personified. What is personification? Personification is a figure of speech which gives human characteristics to non-living or non-human objects. Personification can really affect the way the reader imagines things. For example, the cat was smiling at me. Now, a smile from an animal doesn't seem practical, isn't it? We feel that a satisfied cat which has been fed well can show signs of happiness. So, literally, a cat cannot smile, but a happy cat can be personified just as humans smile when happy. So, personification is giving human qualities to non-human things. Another example, the angry cloud moved closer. Here, we are giving a human quality to an angry cloud with lightning, thunder. This is personification. Now, the next word is plot. What is a plot? A plot is a literary form used to describe the events in a story. Plot is the word which is used to describe the events in a story. Okay, now fourth stanza, line 3 and 4. I am pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. Now the child is happy that he's got the rhyming correct in his poem. What is rhyming? Rhyming words. You are experts in picking rhyming words from the poem, isn't it, children? Here we can see happiness in the budding poet. Shall we read the fifth stanza? It sure was fun to write it, and I think it's long enough. It's just too bad it's missing all that great poetic stuff. Here, the child is expressing his joy in writing this poem. He seems happy about the length, although he remembers that he missed all the poetic stuff. That means, in his poem, it lacks all the poetic devices. Now, sixth stanza. I put it on my teacher's desk, and wow, she made a fuss. She handed back my poem with an A+++++. Here, despite the lack of all the poetic devices, the child submits his poem. Still, his teacher gives him an A+++++. So in the end, the child is appreciated for his attempt. Somewhere, the teacher has also realized that it is fine not to include every figure of speech in a poem. At least he made an attempt. So, children, through this poem, we have learned that we must continue writing, however imperfect our poems may be, because these continuous efforts lead us to success, and someday we shall evolve as great writers. Here ends part 1 of Today I Wrote This Poem by Ken Nesbitt. I hope you have understood my explanation. Bye from Sunita Gladys Kanaka. Thank you.